Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're taking a look at some land sale details, but keeping in mind that this is very preliminary. This hasn't actually been put forward as an IIP as yet. It's only in the discussion section, but if everyone discusses it and agrees, this is what will go through as an IIP and then probably voted on by the council. So pretty close, but keep in mind it still can change from this. We still don't have a date because I know a lot of people want to know the date. We're most anticipating a January sale for the land, but we still don't know. We do have some prices, some starting prices. This will be a Dutch auction, so they'll start at one point and gradually decrease over time. We'll talk about all those details, but yeah, I just wanted to make that clear. Aaron has put this out there, but it is not confirmed, but you know, it's a good starting point, and you know, if everyone agrees, then this is what will probably go through. So disclaimers out of the way, let's jump into it. I'm not going to just read all the text because I pretty much suck at reading. I'm just going to paraphrase the bits that I've already read, the bits that I find important rather, and then we'll go through some of the details. So this top bit is talking about Aaron putting it through, a summary of it, abstract. Don't really need to know that. Just talking about what land is. If you do want to get this though, just jump over to the Discord, go to the IIP and ICCP discussion tab in governance, scroll up a little bit and it will be there to download the PDF and you can check it out. If you're not in the Discord, I'll have a link in the description. You can jump there, go nuts. Anyway, so here we go. So the land sale timings, the duration of the land sale will be 3 days. There will be plots sold per batch. So it will be sold in batches across 3 days. There's going to be 278 plots per batch, and the batch release rate is 1 per hour, and the duration of them is 2 hours. So you'll have overlapping batches and stuff like that. But basically, they're just going to release across the time. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. When we look at the prices, I'll talk a bit about what I think will happen based on these prices, personally. But yeah, it's going to be pretty free-flowing. You can jump in whenever. Hopefully bots don't grab everything up and we'll see how it goes. But that's, you know, basically it. And here we can say since batches are released every hour, there may be some overlap as one batch will be 1 hour old, approximately 30% of the starting price, and the other will be brand new. Each batch will have roughly the same ratio of tiers of the overall land numbers. Now, keep in mind so it's going to have, you know, just ratios of those tiers. We'll look at the tiers in a sec right here, which we can see. So here we go. Total land plots is 100,000. In this sale, there's only going to be 20,000 up for grabs. We are going to have 7 tier 5 land plots all up, but in this sale, there is only going to be 2. We've got 869 tier 4s, 2,088 tier 3s, 5,012 tier 2s, and then 12,029 tier 1 land plots. So that's the way it's going to work. Now, this is the entirety of this first sale across the 3 days. Now, when we look at the land details, each plot of land will have limited details available before the purchase outlined below. You'll know which region it is. You know, they'll have different stuff you can scan in different regions. You'll know the tier, and you'll also know the location. But this thing here, the one thing is like it's going to have different sort of sites, and the sites can fluctuate after the mint. So it's like, you know, these 3 pieces of information before you buy the land, and after you buy it, it's kind of like one of those randomized things here. You get different sort of sources to mine from in that bit of land that's generated after you've purchased it. So this talks about it here, number of sites and landmarks per tier. He gives the example here that, for example, one tier 1 site may have 1 of each element site, or it may have 3 lakes. So like, you don't know what you're going to get in that sense. But as we move on, you can see all the different tiers here and what they do have, the different element sites, the different fuel sites, and so on and so forth. We do get landmarks on tiers 3s and 4, and then obviously tier 5 has the arena. Tier 5 is going to be the Omega Whale. That is going to be a silent auction. That's not going to run the same way as the others. We'll look at that in a sec. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what's going to happen in the land sale for the general batch of it. Okay, so here's the big one that everyone wants to know, and that is the prices. Once again, keep in mind that this is preliminary and it could change. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We got zero point 0.5 ETH. This is based on ETH values. ETH is trading currently at the time of recording this at 43.36. So we got 0.5 ETH for the tier 1, 1.5 for tier 2, 5 for tier 3, and 20 for tier 4. And then the tier 5 is going to be silent auction. I don't know how this silent auction is going to be run because there is 2 tier 5s. Whether it'll be one silent auction followed by another silent auction or just one where the top 2 bids get it. I don't know. I'd say it would be 2 separate ones, but you know, that's really not relevant to anybody that's going to watch this. If you are watching this and you do intend to buy a tier 5, enjoy your land. Make a sick ass stadium and make it cool, because that's all I want to see. But yeah, going into the others, I feel like for any other games land sale, these prices are reasonable to expensive. I feel like for Illuvium, these prices are actually really cheap due to the existence of SILV. Now, SILV is pegged on the ILV price, which is currently at $1,600, which means, like, you know, 1.5 ILV, 1.5 SILV will get you a tier 1 land, which for people, the amount of money in SILV floating around that people have generated through staking is ridiculous. And I feel like even at these prices, everything is going to get snapped up instantly. Like there's going to be no one waiting for prices to drop at these prices. I don't think. I feel like they're just going to go like hotcakes. But I could be wrong on this. But like I said, the buying power of SILV is so large. And by the time land sale comes around, if ILV price goes up, you've got even more buying power and more time to generate. I just think it's going to be a big SILV fest. There's not going to be many people that are actually going to buy with Ethereum. Which doesn't bother me. If no one buys with Ethereum, you don't get the revenue distribution, but you are burning a shitload of ILV tokens. So that's also nice for the economy as well. But yeah, I think these are actually very cheap prices when you consider the existence of SILV. However, you also don't want to make it too expensive, because if we scroll down here a little bit and just have a look at this statement here, the target will be for landowners to be able to earn approximately 5% of the total revenue generated by the in-game purchases of Illuvium. So with that, it's like you'd have to run the math on how much the land's going to cost, how much are you going to generate, how much revenue will the game make, and how much will you make through that from your land plot to calculate how long it takes you to get the return on your investment. And if these get too expensive, then they become pointless in that sense. However, then you also have the added point of, where does land go past Illuvium in future games or anything like that? Is it going to have viability? So it's also a speculation buy. So I honestly think the prices could be higher. And this is the other thing. I'm not fussed about buying land either. In my mind, all I want to happen is land to go as expensive as possible. So if you're that person that really desperately wants land because you love the land gameplay and stuff, I can empathize with that, and I can completely understand why you'd want that to be cheaper. But I just think this looks incredibly cheap for the existence of SILV. Basically, I'm just going to say that again because it looks cheap. But hey, we will wait and see. But any SILV getting spent is pretty solid. I'm pretty happy with it. So we'll see what happens. But this is the curve. This is the deteriorating. Did I say that right? This is the reduction of price curve. So you can see after like 35 to 40 minutes, you're going to be at half the price. I can see everything getting sold above the 75 in this price range, just like I said, because the SILV. So we'll have to wait and see. This is the other thing. ETH and SILV can be used as payment methods for land, but not in one transaction. So you can't, for instance, buy a tier 4 land with like 10 ETH worth of SILV and 10 ETH. You have to do it all in one transaction with either ETH or SILV. So keep that in mind. We mentioned the land, the revenue distribution type thing. Change to Illuvium pricing. Oh yeah, this one had a really good bit of information about it. So Kieran in interviews has spoken about how, you know, like all the landowners can like group together and go, no, we're not selling any of our fuel and stuff like that. And then eventually, like it just drives the prices up. They've put in these like soft limiters of like 25% in either direction, where once it gets that, I think like the balancer pool will actually allow people to buy or sell at 25% of either range. So they've worked out that system. I'm not a big brain on that, but basically, you know, have to know is like they can't destroy the economy by owning all the land. So that's the important thing to come out of that. Moving on from that, this was an interesting note as well. We're currently in talks with IMX to find a way to operate the sale on layer 2. Due to technology limitations, this is currently not likely and may require some centralization. I'm going to stop reading because I suck at reading. Basically, he says you'd have to be centralized to do it on layer 2, and because of the high prices of land, they're going to go with just doing it on layer 1 and paying the gas fees, because the gas fees are a smaller percentage of the actual cost of the land. So they're going to do that, but if something does pop up, they will work on doing it. I think if land sale was a lot cheaper and transactions were a lot smaller, then they probably would have just gone for the centralized option on layer 2. But at this stage, they want to keep that decentralized feel about the game, so that's what they're going with. But we will have to wait and see, but they do intend on making everything on layer 2 eventually, so we'll wait and see how that all pans out, including like the staking on layer 2, which would be absolutely fantastic if we can get that happening. But yeah, that's pretty much all it is. That's the rationale to a land sale, and that's pretty much all the details you need to know. But like I said, the two big takeaways from this is the price, so you can have a look at that. If you have any opinions, you can always go into the discussion and enter your thoughts into the discussion as well. So that is the land price tentatively, and that's how many plots we are getting, and then we have the release schedule of those plots. But let me know what you guys think. How much would you guys pay for a plot of land? Do you have SILV, or are you looking at doing it with ETH? I'm really curious to see what happens out of this. Like I said, I'm not too stressed on land. If I don't get any, I'm not going to be upset. If I decide to buy some, I'll probably be unsure about whether I should. So we'll have to see how it goes. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.